Oh, that's the greatest cloud ever. Oh, you stay there for the rest of my life, please. But then plants won't be able to grow and you'll die. Okay, thank you. Hey guys, welcome to Tiny House Customs. I'm Dan. In today's video, we are gonna start doing the siding. Now this is gonna be an extremely long process. So if you are gonna get bored, please don't comment that you're bored with it, because I'm putting a lot of money into this product. This is Cedar Shake shingles. Cedar Shake shingles. Cedar Shake shingles. Cedar Shake shingles. And they're expensive. It is about $400 to do 10 foot by 10 foot. And I got about 680 square feet to do. So you're looking at a little over $3,000 to do the siding. That's expensive. I can't afford it. I don't know why I chose the most expensive thing in the world, but I'm doing it. Now I realize that I start rambling at the beginning of these videos and I go for like 3 or 4 minutes, so I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna get into this project, and everything I was gonna say at this beginning of the video, I will say in the video. Makes complete sense to me. There will be multiple videos in this series though, so I hope you enjoy it. Is my license plate showing in my car? It looks a little low in the back there. That's what you get for putting 9,000 pounds in the trunk. Here comes the sun, na 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 na. So when you're doing cedar shakes like I'm doing, you need to do 2 courses on the bottom. So I'll put this course down, and then I'm gonna put another course right on top of it. Now I did finish some of these already to see what it looked like. So if you see that, I'm gonna try to use those up on this underside. Now this first course, I wanna put it just a hair above the bottom of the trailer. One thing I realized after I put my trim on is that if any of this trim is hanging down below the bottom of the plywood that's on the bottom of the trailer, and I'm driving up a hill or something, and the bottom of the trailer drags right here, it's gonna rip all these shingles off, it's gonna rip my trim off, it's gonna be a huge problem. So what I'm going to do is bolt on a large piece of either metal or wood onto the bottom of this as like a skid plate basically. And so if I do ever bottom out when I'm coming up a hill or something, it's gonna hit that and it won't rip my siding off. So, but either way, I want this to be just up a hair. You'll never be able to see that plywood underneath there, but as long as it's just hanging down a little bit. So I already put these few pieces on. I'm going to take this piece and mark that right there, and then we'll go right here. We'll put this like that, and we'll mark this right here. Good, and then we need a got that. Take my speed square, mark that across that way, mark that down like that. I'm going to be using pretty much every tool I own: table saw, chop saw, circular saw, for easy on this first stuff, because this doesn't need to be too perfect. I'm just gonna use a jigsaw. Good? Oh, I like it, I like it, I like it a lot. Just gonna put a little silicone right here. Not too much, just enough to make me happy. Ah, fucking fuck! I don't have enough amps to run my compressor. Now I'm going to be going with a 7-inch exposure here. So I want these nails to be about 8.5, 9 inches up from the bottom. It'll make sense in the future. What are you using? What type of gun are you using, Dan? Well, we'll get to that. There's so much information I have. It's unbelievable amounts of information. So I am using stainless steel staples. I had to purchase this thing right here. These stainless steel staples were extremely expensive. This is I forget, maybe I can tell you. This is a 16 gauge, 2-inch, maybe those are 2-inch, 1 3/4 maybe. And then I also bought, well actually my sister got me this one right here. She's a nice one. Oops, oh God. And I also got stainless steel nails for these. These are gonna be for when I have little pieces that go underneath stuff like this, the trim and stuff. I'll put a couple little boys in there. But this thing is going to be stapling a majority of it I've got a box of 3,000 staples, and I kind of got a feeling I'm going to use like 6 boxes, so at $50, $60 a box, not cool. So one thing you can do is take the fat end, which is the bottom, and butt it into it, and then you can get your overall length like that. That's one way of doing it, since I can't come up into it. And then what? And then we'll butt it into here, and we'll get this length right here, and then we'll come right here-ish, and we'll get this mark right here, and then we'll do a lot of marking. What happened? I lost something. Take that out. I need a chop saw. I really don't want to get my chop saw out here because it's a big beastly toy. You dieharders are gonna be so angry with me. Where's your ledger board? You should have it. You should have a ledger board. Too many of the same size will cause problems later. Most likely, could be wrong. So on this nail gun, there is a depth adjustment. It's not a spin thing. You got to do an Allen wrench in here and adjust this. Now, since your air tanks are constantly fluctuating with the PSI that they have in them, it starts out at 120, it doesn't kick on until 80. It's going to affect the depth that these shoot into. So be mindful of that. Adjust this as needed. You can adjust a regulator on an air compressor so that it's not shooting it too far in. You want it to be just below. Like that one's too deep. They're all too deep. Seriously though, honestly. We are now rapid fire. Let's put that thing back in. Be enough. Be enough. Nice. So when you come to the end, you're gonna have to rip a piece. I'm not surprised by this. So what I'm gonna do is put this piece against my trim, which I know is running square. I'm gonna come up to the top, put a mark, and I'll come to the bottom and put a mark. It should be perfectly straight since these are all milled correctly right here, but little imperfections happen along your ways. So that's good. That's fine. I mean, it'll be, yeah, that is fine. It's only about a 1/16 inch difference. So I'm gonna go with the bigger one, and I'll end up with a little gap right here, but it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay, guys. So now's the point where I need another tool, a table saw. I think I'm gonna get my cheap table saw. So if you guys have been with me for a long time, and when I did the plumbing, the first plumbing video I did, I think it was, I hooked up one of these, which is like it shuts the water off inside the house so you don't have, it won't freeze. And I did some stuff to it. I glued it up so that I could backflow the thing. Well, the other day I lost power for almost 48 hours. And so my neighbor still had power, so I ran a garden hose from their house to my house, and I hooked it up to this one so I could backfeed my house. But it had failed. It didn't work, and this had also, since the modifications I had done to it, started leaking. I took it out and I put a new one in, and I didn't do any modifications to it. This one is an antifreeze one. This one is not an antifreeze. I put a shutoff valve inside. I pitched my pipes down, so in the winter I can drain these and it'll be okay. But this one will allow backflow to it. So if I ever am at a place where I can hook up to a hose, which I am kind of here, but I can hook the hose up to this, backfeed the house, and that's it. And then this up here will hold my breaker box for the split mini. It'll hold the 2 hoses for the split mini will come out of this, and then the propane lines are going to come out of this thing right here. You can see some of these I put the general finishes on to see how dark it would get. The picture I posted on Facebook and Instagram, it was really dark, but they've actually lightened up a little bit. Since that finish is taken into the wood and it's had time to dry, it's actually lightened up a lot. I also noticed that some of these were darker than the other ones. Like this one's really white and this one's darker. That's way dark. So these might be an eyesore, but I think if I blend them in properly, it'll look cool. Yeah, like you can see, that one's really light, but it hasn't had any finish to it. It would have looked like that if it did. Look at this monstrosity of a phone I got. Do you see it? You guys have no idea. It's large. So this is my cheap table saw. It is a Delta Shopmaster. I would think that Delta makes a good quality table saw, but this is literally the worst table saw I've ever owned in my life. I actually bought this on Craigslist for like 40, 60, I forget, dollars, but it was a cheap little thing. And I'm gonna use that basically for most of this project. If it gets shat on, it's okay. So you ready? So I've called most of the guys that I used to work with when I did this professionally and asked them about a gap. And the box says to leave an 1/8 inch to a 1/4 inch of a gap in between each piece. Now it depends on what season you're installing this stuff that you want a gap. Right now it's the warmest, so what I've been told, and I will research this later, so if it's in the video it's probably factual, but keep it tight right now. In the winter it's gonna contract, it's gonna go smaller, so I'll end up with that gap that you're supposed to put. Right now I got about a 1/16 gap. That is perfect for me. There you go. That is the first course done. Now let's do many. Oh, where'd you go? Why did you leave? Like, you didn't want to hang out? There's so many knobs that I need to touch. So I'm gonna start doing the exposed finish shingles on this, and I want to make sure I get the correct overlap on each shingle. You don't want to have a joint running in line with a joint like that because water will get in there. So what I did is I found one of the smallest pieces, and it's basically 4 inches. So when I do this, I want to make sure that my overlap is at least 2 inches on all these joints. Now I can take a larger piece and span over these pieces like this, and it will be all right. You follow me? I'm following you. I'm picking up what you're throwing down. I want to make sure that I got at least 2 inches from each joint, and that is going to get carried all the way up. And there's other rules, but we'll get onto them soon. Cock. I need to rub my cock all over it. Come here, cock. Come here. Come on, cock. Oh, what are you doing with your cock? Peanut, that's disgusting. Go to church. Oh my God, what are you doing? Oh my God, what did I just do? So I did post a picture on Facebook and Instagram, which would be a couple months ago probably, maybe 2 months ago, about how I'm gonna run this. I've seen people do angle cuts on the bottom of this. I've actually done angle cuts in the bottom, and then you rotate the angles all the way through it, and it really looks sharp. There's, basically what I've got now is I can go straight, or I can do it staggered, and I really like the way staggered looks like. So basically I'm gonna stay within a 1/2 inch of the 7 inches. So I'm gonna just jump this piece up a little bit. I'm about 3/4 of an inch from this piece. So that's no good, no bueno. So I've got a stack of pieces next to me. That's about 2 inches. I'm happy with that. Well, I'd like a smaller one. I would like this big. I would like this big, this big. Yep, that'll work. So I'm gonna jump up about a 1/2 inch and staple it in. All right, these are big, man. I like small. That's too big. That looks good. We'll come back down to flush. So since I'm about 2 inches from this piece, a little piece would work perfect. Look at that baby, it'll look cute. And I'm also taking into consideration the nails right here. It's about 3/4 of an inch. Now this piece will end up coming like this. The next course that I do will be about here. So it's gonna be covering it. It's gonna be great. So since cedar is such a soft wood, I'm gonna freehand it. Basically I'm going to eye it up and do my work. Yeah, I like the staggered. Much more prettier. So in this case, I really want this piece to land 1/2 and 1/2 on this small piece. So I'm just gonna mark this right here, and I'll rip about 1 inch off that. Make sense? Always does, never does not make sense. So this is gonna get squared across basically all the way. feel about her. This thing is for sure electrocuting. I'm getting electrocuted every time I touch it. So when you're doing your calculations for siding, hardwood flooring, walls, ceiling, whatever, you always want to add 10 to 20% for mistakes and waste, basically. Yeah, I have a lot of stuff that's going to take away from that, like these, the windows and stuff like that. But right here is a perfect example. This cut right here is not straight. It is absolutely atrocious. It was obviously split. And so I don't have a tight gap here, and I want it to be pretty, at least now. So I don't want to use this piece right here because that's ugly. I don't want that. No, no. Garbage. Garbage. Let's find one that works better. That works perfect. Let's check it. Looks good to me. Come up a 1/2 inch. Good. Good. And cut that there. And cut that there. And cut that right there. Looks good to me. I think by the end of this project, I'll be pretty efficient with cutting and marking and doing all of it. But right now I'm being like extremely anal. I'm fine with anal. Yeah, oh, that's perfect. Look at that piece. It's ginormous. Covers 2 inches of that joint. It's gonna be flush. So lettuce mark it. Since I reached the end here, I want to find a piece where I'm losing the least amount. So this piece, I'm only losing about 1/4 inch. So I will definitely utilize this piece for that. Bruno, what are you doing? I'm going under the house. Send help. I'm trapped. Oh God. So if I were installing this on a regular house, I would use basically like a ledger board that's hung from above the shingles and it comes down, and it's a lot of work to do it, but on a tiny house like this, I just need a straight line. So what I did is I bought a chalk line, and this, I didn't put any chalk in it, so I'm not going to get any red or blue or black chalk on my finished product. And then I made these brackets right here. See this? You got a little 45, and then there's a screw on this side to hook the chalk line on. I'm going to hook this on to that right there, basically. I'll hook it on there, and I will hook this thingy onto that thingy. I mean, it's a lot of work, what I'm saying, but generally it'll be, and then the line will come out like this, and I'll string it across, and I've got 2 of them, and that'll be good. And I'm going to set it up so it's about 7 inches above the bottom course. I want a 7-inch exposure. You can go about 8. What are these things? These shingles are 17 inches. So if you divided 17, that would be 8.5. But I want overlap on top of overlap, so I don't have water going up and in. So I think 7 inches for an exposure is perfect. That's what I've done on most of the projects I've ever worked on. So 7 inches it is. This is the first course, baby. I'm so excited. Good, stay. Mother. Okay, kids, today we're gonna learn about solving problems. Fucking A. Generally, it involves drinking. So when I do the 7-inch overlap, basically, when I nail into this row, these nails, or staples basically, are gonna catch into these. So I'm gonna get more staples into this piece below. Does it make sense? I think it does. That'll probably go about there. So boom, boom. Oh, it's fucking brilliant. Everything about it is brilliant. It's gonna happen. The sun is finally down. It's never non-painless. It always hurts my brain or something. Something always gets injured. It's gonna fucking split what I spent 3 hours on. Holy shit. Okay, ready? Don't ever do what I do in my videos. But let's say like I have this where it's sticking out like that. So I took the nails out of the feed chamber. I'm gonna place the gun over that again. I'm gonna put it on a hard surface this time. Yeah. So look at now that nail's sticking out, right? So I did take those staples. You saw me shoot that staple into that piece, and then I took my grinder and I sharpened 2 points in it so it would stick into this. It's not digging into it too much, but it's enough to do what I need it to do, and it holds it. And I pulled that string really tight so it stays flat. Now that's just going to be a reference point. I'm going to use that as the bottom of my courses, and I'm going to come up a 1/2 inch where I want to, and I'll keep doing that staggered thing like I did down here. Now, because the earth is round, I've decided to go 7.5 inches versus 7 inches. It's perfect. If I do that, that might save me about $20 on this whole project. Probably way more than that, but I figured it's like this. This ends up being, from this point to here, ends up being 7 inches. From here to here, it's 7.5. So I'm basically, it'll be a 7-inch exposure. Because this first piece will probably go to the line. So that'll be 7.5. That'll be 7.5. No, your theory is wrong, but everything that I said might be right. So let us continue. It disappeared. That's a thumbnail for the records. Now, since I have those nails right there, I need to treat that like it is a joint. So I want to stay at least 1 inch, 2 inches would be the best, away from that nail. Right here would be the best. So take a 1/2 inch off that, or find a piece that works. I'm gonna put one for now. Where's my tape measure? And then I'm shooting for 8 inches. As long as that staple's above 8 inches, I'll be all right. So now that's kind of why I feel like 2 staples will be good enough for these pieces, because these under pieces, and you know, this piece will end up getting nails or staples in the top as well. So I'm content with the shit I just did. Perfection. I'm gonna come to my rope. I'm gonna stay about a 1/16 inch. If I touch that rope, I'm gonna bow it down, and by the time I get to the other side, I'm gonna have a huge bow. So that rope is literally just a reference point. I don't want to touch it. Oh my God, I almost shot my finger. Yes, it turned on. Did you hear it? You might not be able to. Right now is the point where the exposure is a huge factor in everything that I'm doing. So 7.5, 15 inches. I feel like it's too small. I feel like that's too small. I kind of got a feeling if, like, the smaller this reveal is, the bigger the house will look, and it already looks like a monstrosity, so I want to make it look smaller. So I'm thinking if I went bigger on my reveal, it would be better. So are you feeling me with that? Like, the exposure, it almost looks too small. I kind of feel like I need to sleep with it tonight to know if it's gonna work. Generally how I gauge my relationships. I sleep with it for a few nights and see where it goes. Generally it doesn't go anywhere. I think that looks all right. I think it looks sharp. Can you go with me? Like, I'm motherfucking shit. I need another drink, because that hurt. It shouldn't hurt when you're drunk. So I've been playing around with this for literally like 2 or 3 hours to try to figure out what kind of exposure I want. Now originally I thought 7 inches, and then I went to 7.5 inches, which is a 1/2 inch below this. And I posted a picture on social media there, Facebook and Instagram, and got some feedback on that. And then I ripped off like 4 or 5 pieces, and I raised it up to 8 inches. So from, right? Yeah, so from the bottom of this to the white line is 8 inches. So that would be 8.5. And what I realize is that it makes it look like I'm trying to stretch the material that I have to use, and it gives it more of a cheap appearance. As much as I don't want to do this, and it's like literally a $20 to $30 mistake, I'm going to rip all these pieces off. Yeah, that's a good $20. I mean, you can't really tell in that video right here, but it just looks cheap. And the other one looked a little richer. So if you want to know how to remove cedar shakes in a hurry, a framing hammer, claws. Oh, this is painful to do, but, and no, I don't want to hear it. You can't do whatever it is you're thinking. Now I can rip these. I can save some of it. Oh, it hurts. Oh my God, it hurts. That was about $5. Let's make it nice. This is great firewood. It's expensive firewood. It'll burn really well. We're going with a 7.5-inch exposure. Oh, it's lukewarm. So what do you guys think? It came out pretty damn cool. If you're on Facebook and Instagram, you've seen it. It's my most liked photo ever. 140 likes on Instagram, and then General Finishes also shared the photo and it got 132, and on Facebook it got 117 or something like that. It's my most liked photo on my entire build, so I'm pretty happy. I think it came out really nice. I did stop filming because a lot of the stuff I was doing, I was kind of figuring out as I went, and it's really hard to make a video when you're learning something. So basically I learned what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the house. I will take you along for more of it. I got plenty more stuff to tell you about how I did this project. I'm going to show you how I work around all these little things and the windows and stuff like that. That whole top section where it's set at an angle, the 7.16 degree. I'll show you all that on the other side. And then I did put 1 coat of General Finishes outdoor oil. Is that all right? Probably should have grabbed a new can so it was pretty. Now, I believe I am legally obligated to tell you this. I think it's the FTC, Fair Trade Commission. I think, I could be wrong, maybe. But there is a law that says that I need to tell you when I'm sponsored or not. Now, there's a gray area there because I'm not sponsored by General Finishes. They just provided me with this product at no cost. So, and even then, if they didn't give it to me, I was going to go and buy it anyway. So, definitely want to thank General Finishes for providing me with this finish. I think it looks absolutely perfect. I only put 1 coat on it in December, January. When all this stuff shrinks, I'm going to come back and put another coat on it to get in between all the cracks and stuff like that. But I think it's perfect, and it's actually kind of changed in color over the last few days. So I'm pretty happy with it. I think it really pops with the window. I know you can't really see it because it's open, but it looks nice. In the white trim, it just really. But next video in this series, I'm going to be starting on this side, which is the side that you see when you pull up, and I really can't wait for it to be finished. I'm going to be making a story pole, which you'll learn in the next video what that is. I'm going to be hiding my wheel wells. I'm going to be making a removable piece. So when I get to wherever I'm at, I can slide it in. I take the tires off, slide the removable piece in, and the shingles will be seamless on the whole thing, hopefully. I mean, in my head it works, but sometimes things don't work in your head. But that's what's to come. I hope you enjoyed this video. I don't know, I thought it was all right. It's pushing 30 minutes probably, but I hope you enjoyed it. If you're new to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Please hit that subscribe button, very important. If you want to help support a fully fan-funded tiny house build, that's it right there. It's all black. I'm gonna paint the rims white. I feel like it looks a little gothy for me. I'm gonna paint the rims white, but I'm ready to start framing on that. So if you join me on Patreon, you'll get advanced access to all my content. You'll get behind the scenes just for you videos, and you will be supporting that build right there. So just $1 a month, linked in the description. Thanks so much. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, comment your great knowledge, and I will see you on the next video. Maybe, not sure. Peanut, what do you think? I don't care. I'm gonna film the intro for the next video right now. So literally, it's all the same day, because shit happened, okay?